With the municipal election day coming up on October the 20th, we continue to highlight candidates who are running for a seat on Lethbridge City Council. There are 8 seats up for grabs, and Robin James is gunning for one of them. She's here right now. Robin, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Robin, you've worked for nearly 2 decades with the Lethbridge Housing Authority. What led you to toss your hat in the ring for City Council?
So the reason I've chosen to put my name in this year is because I believe we need leaders that understand the challenges that the residents are facing. I believe we need leaders that are familiar with building partnerships with various levels of government, with securing funding from them, and delivering on practical solutions.
All right, and so then I'll assume that affordable housing would be a top priority for you, given your time with Lethbridge Housing Authority. But you talk about housing at every stage. Can you just explain that?
So the most important thing about housing, I think, for our community is that it's affordable for those who are in need at each stage of their life. So we have a large university, we have a large college. Do we have enough housing for those people who are accessing those services to actually be successful and stay in our city? Do we have enough bungalows built so as our seniors age, they can age in place? We know that we've got a large amount of seniors in our city. We know the baby boomers are just retiring. Do we have that infrastructure of housing that allows people to meet their needs and meet them where they're at so that they can be successful as they age?
And then after housing, can you just talk about what some of your key issues are?
So affordable housing is my big one. Safety and homelessness, of course, is also within my wheelhouse. So I have kept in my wheelhouse for preventing and reducing homelessness in the city of Lethbridge, and some pillars that we need to get to, such as different types of housing through the housing continuum to ensure that our people have a place to be and our streets are safe and our downtown is a great place to be. And then my third pillar in my platform right now is access to healthcare, where we need it, when we need it. So we've faced a lot of challenges keeping family doctors here in the city. We do know they're coming to Alberta. We do know many are graduating, but how do we keep them here? What are the things we can do? And we have a large opportunity with the University of Lethbridge right now doing some programming in the medical and graduating doctors. So how do we retain them and keep them?
Right.
How do we incentivize them that Lethbridge is a great place to live?
And then what about some other issues here? Let's talk about crime. I know it seems like it's gone down over recent years from where it was like several years ago. But what do you think needs to change when it comes to crime or policing in our city?
So the police have really done a great job since their budget was increased. I mean, they did suffer quite a large decrease in their budget a few years ago. So since they've been able to get their budget back to where it needed to be, they've staffed up the downtown policing unit. The men and women on that department do an absolutely excellent job of keeping our downtown safe. And I think we need to just continue to do more of the same on that. We need to be advocating strongly to our federal government friends that we want to be tough on crime. I think we have, probably the same 20 or 50 people creating most of the crime in our city. So a federal government advocacy plan is something that we need to really work on in our community to ensure that we are providing safety for our residents.
And then another hot button issue in Lethbridge, and something that's really on a lot of Lethbridgians' minds lately and been talked about a lot, is transportation. Namely, people living on the west side having challenges getting over to the east side and vice versa, whether it be due to construction or motor vehicle collisions. It seems like this is a daily thing now. What are your thoughts on the need for a third bridge, and what are some alternatives?
So I think we have a great opportunity here. I grew up on the west side. My parents were it was Little House on the Prairie when my parents built on the west side in the 70s. So I think we have a huge opportunity, being that the provincial government owns Highway 3. So they actually own that bridge as well. And they have recognized that they do need to do something with that bridge, that access ramp from what we would call the old road. I don't know what it's actually called, that comes by the golf course. There's not enough ability to merge there. That merge lane isn't large enough. So if the provincial government has designated us an agri-food corridor, and we are running a large number of heavy vehicles through our city on the Crow's Nest Trail, we need to leverage that relationship and leverage our stance with our agri-food corridor with the provincial government to have them expand Highway 3 first, make that bridge maybe twice the size, and that gives us some breathing room and some time to lean into our federal government and get some grants available to build a third bridge.
You know, I drive a lot between Lethbridge and Calgary quite a bit, and if there's like farm equipment that's making its way on Highway 3 or a mobile house, that can really create a bottleneck for a lot of things. So do you feel like the entire Highway 3 needs to be widened, or just the bridge?
Well, I think that if we're going to continue to do this agri-food corridor piece through our city, we do need to widen things, but we need to start with that bridge and that merge. It needs to be safe, and it needs to be a structure in which that our West Siders can get home while our heavy trucks are running back and forth through our city.
And what about the need for the third bridge? Obviously, like there's land set aside for it, just the funds aren't in place.
Right. So what has been done? That's my question. Have we applied to the federal government? Obviously, a large infrastructure program like a project like that, we shouldn't be relying on our taxpayers in the city of Lethbridge. I think they're maxed out with where the mill rates are now. So we do need to lean into other levels of government that have far more access to far more funds than we do.
And besides working with the Housing Authority, you've actually sat on a number of boards, one of them called Team Lethbridge. What is that?
So that's specifically, the board that I'm on for that is actually Economic Development Lethbridge.
Oh, okay.
So they create a team that goes to Edmonton every other year and advocates to our provincial government for things that we need in Lethbridge, such as our expanded waste and water treatment plant, as well as any other kind of things we're facing, such as affordable housing, that sort of thing. So a group of us go up every other year. We meet with the Premier and other ministers, and we are basically loud voices, cheerleaders for our city.
Now, 18 candidates are vying for only 8 seats on City Council. Some are younger than others, some are more experienced. Just talk about how important is it having an experienced person on City Council?
So I think the important thing about council that no one talks about is we need a skills matrix on council. We need people that have experience and knowledge in a variety of things, and not just people that have recognition of things. So if we look at City Council as a matrix of skills, I think that we need to focus on what our priorities are. I have a skill in community social development. That is a large department of the city of Lethbridge that actually spends a great deal of money, a great deal of our tax dollars. So if we focus on candidates that have skills in the matrix that we feel is important as voters, then I think that we'll find success with council.
Now, this is your first time running as a candidate, and I've heard stories about how the campaign trail in Lethbridge is not so cutthroat as it is, like, say, like provincially or federally. Even talking with other candidates now, they're saying that the running is very civil. I remember in the last municipal election, one of the candidates told me that another candidate had called him and say, hey, just so you know, like, some of your signs have been vandalized, and they're being very supportive of each other. What's your experience been like on the campaign trail so far?
So far I think it's collaborative, and I think it has to remain that way, because you always need 4 friends to get anything done in the city. It's great to be able to have a strong voice and a strong advocacy, but if you don't have 4 friends that are going to vote with you, then you have nothing. So council needs to be looked at as a collaboration, and it needs to be looked at as an opportunity to collaborate with colleagues that are like-minded, and we can move things forward.
And if there was one thing that you would most passionately want to change about council, what would it be?
I would love for councillors to be able to provide our constituents with some sort of like I said, a skills matrix. This is what I'm good at. This is what I know. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm passionate about. I'm someone who lives and works downtown. I have a large number of buildings through Lethbridge Housing. I think I'm the largest landlord in the downtown. I'm very passionate about that. I love the ward system. I think that candidates need to be able to get their messages out about where their passion lies and what skills they're bringing to the table versus just kind of a name recognition situation.
Right, and so shortly after the last election, I do recall that that Lethbridgians were very much in favor of a ward system. What needs to happen? What next steps need to make that happen?
We just need to do it. We asked the people of Lethbridge if they wanted a ward system. They answered yes, they do. So next steps, let's do it. There is a cost involved, but there's an advocacy piece involved. People on the west side right now with that bridge are not feeling heard. I've had plenty of emails from west siders that feel that they're not heard. So if there was a candidate that actually represented the west side, that would be a strong voice. We're looking at a large development over by the University of Lethbridge. They currently are working as a private corporation to develop more housing there, as well as commercial. So if we add another 10,000 people to the west side, what does that mean? And what does that look like? So I think a ward system allows communities to be heard specifically.
Robin James is running for a seat on Lethbridge City Council in the October 20th municipal election. Robin, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.